I'm Scott H. Biram, the dirty old one-man band from Austin, Texas, and I'm playing here at the Lincoln Center tonight at the Independent Music Awards Showcase. It wasn't until I was actually doing it that I was like, this is what I'm doing, not so much this is what I'm going to do. Uh, my last real job was Christmas Eve of 2001. I quit. I said, I'm not going to be coming in anymore. I was washing dishes and cooking, and they said, well, you're not going to give your 2 weeks notice? And I said, you wouldn't like the way I'd be acting in the next 2 weeks. And by that time, I'd already been touring with a bluegrass band, and then doing my own solo tours as a more of a singer-songwriter back then, not so much a one-man band. And I just kept doing it, and I asserted myself, and I just started booking and booking and booking and trying to keep myself busy and make enough money to to live off of. And it's just kind of grown and grown and grown. It's worked out pretty good. I won't complain. I live a blessed life. I have a good thing going on here. Austin was not my launch pad for where I started playing music. San Marcos was really where I played my first show at the Triple Crown in San Marcos, which is this little bar, and it was the first night it was ever open, and I played, and that was my first solo gig, and my punk band played later that night, and then I got like a regular gig where I was playing there once a week or something like that, and I just figured out at some point that as long as I had a tip jar, which I may or may not get some money in, and they were giving me free beer from the bar for playing, then rather than being at the bar watching somebody play and being nobody, I could be the guy that everybody was paying attention to and maybe make some money and get my beer for free, or maybe get some that night. So I'm not like extremely successful or anything like that, but I do have an ongoing career in music. People ask me, what do you do to get started, to get going, to get that momentum going and everything, and I always say, just take every opportunity you get and just keep at it and keep going, keep doing it, and do it often. And there's a guy named Uncle Will a long time ago. He's passed and gone, but he told me a long time ago when I was first starting. He said do something for your music every day. And I got to where I did something for my music every day, and then I got in the habit of it, and then now I do like almost too much every day. Just work hard. Just don't expect it to be dropped in your lap. Continue to work hard and book your shows for yourself and keep playing, and that gives you practice, and that gives you experience, and that also gets you exposure, and you just keep doing that, and you just keep doing that and keep doing that, and after a while it gets stuck in their heads, and it gets around, the word gets around, what goes around comes around. And it was something that was really good, and it made me feel really good, and I was able to call myself an award-winning musician after that. The way I got out of representing myself all the time and doing everything myself was by I was on tour with my friend Joe Buck. Joe Buck yourself. He's a one-man band. He became a one-man band after I toured with him. He was the bass player for Hank 3 a long time ago, and I went on tour with them, and he's like, I think I'm gonna be a one-man band. And he was like, I got an idea. I'm gonna book a tour, and it was the battle of the one-man bands, and we went out, and he used to be in a band called the Legendary Shack Shakers, and they were on Bloodshot Records, which is what I'm on now, and he was like, he wanted to stop in there while we were in Chicago and say hello. So I went and got a CD out of my van, and I went back in there, and I gave it to Rob, the owner, and I said, hey, I hear you don't sign metal bands, I'm the exception. And they called me 2 weeks later, and they signed me. They really asked me if I wanted to sign, and I was like, well, I'm not sure. And it came down to, I said, well, I tell you what, I was tired of booking myself. It was a lot of work. And I said, if you can get me a good booking agent, then I'll sign. And we did that, and here we are, 7 or 8 years later, and 4 or 5 records later. The biggest thing was overcoming people thinking I was a singer-songwriter when I was a one-man band, and I started being louder. It was more in your face. I wanted to play in rock clubs. Becoming a one-man band and getting the the setup that I have now and everything didn't come from you know, me being like, oh, I want to be a one-man band. It came from starting out playing guitar and singing, and then like I liked stomping my foot on the floor. I used to play at this Green Hall. It's called Green Hall. It's the oldest dance hall in Texas, and it's a wood floor. And I love old John Lee Hooker and things like that. You know, and he's stomping his foot on the floor. So I started doing that, and then I started wanting to amplify the way that I stomp my foot on the floor. I started wanting to make my vocals sound a little more like they were. I wanted my vocals to sound like rock guitar, and not just as vocals through a microphone. So I started singing through crazy microphones and things, and it's just grown slowly, building different things. I also used to have a dream about having this wall of amplifiers behind me. I used to play in my old punk band. We used to open for this band called Rig, or Crown Roast they became later, and they were like, this guy played bass through a bass amp with a blown house stereo speakers and another speaker. Like, they just put it all together, and he'd play through there, and it just sounded crazy, and I just wanted that kind of thing for myself. So and I've just slowly built it up, and it just keeps changing, and I think it's important to keep changing it. You know, if you keep it the same, it's gonna get stale after a while. Keep putting out good records. I'm gonna keep, you know, evolving and changing, and maybe even go back to the old style and be gritty and raunchy and you know, just keep getting my name out there, keep playing. Maybe someday I won't have to play so many shows a year. I play about 200 shows a year, 150, 200 shows a year. It's a lot, and I'd like to. Maybe someday I'll make enough money at shows that I can play, you know, 6 months out of the year off and on, and then actually have some time to go fly a kite or something. I don't know.